right, we got some more about Frogan and Denims, the man, the myth, the legend, legal mindset. Let's keep watching. Hopefully, we're watching the downfall of two very slimy individuals.
Go ahead and start with Frogie. Of course, I've got my PP. Now it's the same PP, but I'm going to do it differently and do it kind of special for you guys. So,
Why does he say
this is a
PP?
very special PP because it's live. So let's talk about this. Frogan is
Got that big
literally
PP, I
about to
bet.
default
Sorry.
early next week. What has she done with the 50K she raised? What
I bet she took it all, spent it all, and ran.
have we? What we have not heard from her or her attorney at all.
And you
She
won't
has
either.
like 5 days.
You won't either. She's not going to say anything to anybody
To respond to our complaint, or she loses by default. And this was last night. So it's probably down to 4 days.
So she's going to lose by default if she doesn't respond to Ethan? What a dumbass.
Probably down to 4 days.
I think she's just going to try and dodge it altogether.
Okay, so after this came from Ethan, so this is from Ethan, right? This was the Snarkers. And this is one of the most legally inaccurate takes.
Can't wait to see the case be dismissed after Fro files a motion to quash after being improperly served. This dude is such an idiot. He has all this money and doesn't know what to do with it. So, therefore, his quack of a lawyer is just happily taking it from him, LMAO. Well, I mean, the thing is that he talked to his lawyer and set up this trap to legally grab these people. So, if anything, he's doing a smart by doing this.
That's one of the most legally inaccurate takes ever. Okay, this is from the Starkers. Can't wait to see the case. I can't not think that she's frozen yogurt. So let's get into this. After Fro, he has all here. Funny. Okay, well, first of all, our greedy, money-sucking, soulless quack. And first of all, let's explain what a default judgment is. Okay, default judgment is a court ruling in favor of the plaintiff, typically because
they didn't show up. You'd be surprised. I've actually seen a lot of court cases where a person will get hurt on the job, and the job will no longer contact them, will no longer contact the facility where they are brought to, like a hospital, and will completely act like they don't exist, to the point where they will even get a summons to court and will not show up in court, in which case it always goes to the defendant, the plaintiff, and it's so bad that it sometimes they don't even get the payment after court rules in their favor. That's how bad it is sometimes.
the defendant does not file a defense, or the defendant doesn't acknowledge the claim. So, if you just want to stick your head in the sand and pretend you don't know what's going on, you're likely going to get a default judgment. Now, there are certain circumstances in which not receiving service is a real thing.
Yes.
However, in this case, ethanklein has multiple methods. He can, obviously have what we call hand deliveries when you're hand serviced, but there's also service by publication. So you can publish it in a newspaper of general circulation, and that can generally get back and serve a service. And beyond that, we all know that Frogan knows about this lawsuit.
Yes.
Like, it's not something that Frogan doesn't know.
The thing
about.
is like with most of these content creators that go online, they know because their audience is telling them, and there's actual footage that have been passed around of them acknowledging the fact that it exists. So whether they like it or not, they know it exists, and there's no getting around that.
Very public. So it's very clear what's going on here.
Yes.
To a judge. That Frogan is trying to dodge this. Frogan is trying to evade this, right?
And I can't say that I blame her. I mean, I'd try to roach out as well. Like, this is something she really can't afford. So, but acting like it doesn't exist is not good when it comes to this. I mean, all the times that she was slimy to the people around her in the community, it just kind of caught up with her,
And ethanklein, through this default judgment, this court ruling in favor of the plaintiff, he would win without Frogan ever having a chance to assert defense. So Frogan, even if she gets this default judgment, so even if the court ends up ultimately siding with Ethan Klein and saying, hey, default judgment. And remember, with a default judgment, that isn't a win for Klein. He gets what he wants.
Mhm.
So he'll get damages.
It's a
whatever else he
100% victory is what he's trying to. Obviously, he said that, but it's just kind of amazing to me that even after all of this, they don't take this seriously. This could really fuck you up. Like, this could really mess your life up because Ethan's trying to go for garnished wages, which means that anytime she collects money, it would automatically be garnished. It would automatically be taken out. It'd go straight to Ethan no matter how much or where she, no matter how much she gets or how far she runs, it will be completely disastrous for her, which is really kind of weird. Why would you bother putting up a GoFundMe for this lawsuit and then not use the funds to get a lawyer to combat this? I mean, if anything, that's just, it's
wants,
just weird.
Injunctions, removal of the video, whatever he wants, he's going to get that by default. It's
Yeah.
Say, well, this person is not fighting back, so okay. And then he can proceed if she doesn't do anything,
Which it looks like that.
Proceed to collecting on that judgment at a certain point. However, Frogi Yogi does have a potential opportunity to challenge the default judgment. And she does that with an objection to the default judgment, which is a motion to set aside. So she can make a motion to set aside the default
To
judgment.
have a valid excuse, not
Now,
receiving the claim,
does
illness,
need to
or
have a
extreme emergency, procedural error.
Valid excuse.
Procedural error.
Right? So not receiving the claim could be if the service, all types of service were invalid. But I guarantee you that
What's crazy is that it won't matter because she went on her stream saying that she got served by Ethan Klein, so it doesn't matter. That's no defense anymore. She's cooked.
at least one type of service that they used on this, whether it was, hand delivery or publication or some sort of substitute service, was legally sufficient to provide notice of service or sufficient service to proceed with the case. They're not going to
I think it was both. I think Ethan got 2 fields there because I believe he mailed out a legal, a legal, like, you've been served letter and a obvious, like, what was the other one, where he gets on a platform and he says to a bunch of people, so like it's known public information to a lot of people.
Judgment, typically, if there was completely bunk service, but that the burden would be on Frogi to prove that.
Yes,
and beyond that, you'd have to have something like illness or extreme emergency.
Yeah,
and as far as we know, in the Frogan case, Frogan is not in the hospital. Frogan is not under extreme emergency. Frogan was not in a crisis zone, right? She's not somewhere where bad stuff is going
What is
down,
this procedural error, though?
Or she'd have to prove a procedural error, right? However, she has to respond to do this.
Okay.
And that response has to be very prompt and persuasive. So she'd have to do that anyways. So she's going to have to go back, write the court, and explain why.
She ain't going to be doing all this. That little $25K ain't going to be enough for that lawyer to be doing all this. There's no way, dude. There's no way.
He did not respond before, etc. And the judge is not obliged to accept that. The judge can say, I don't accept this. We're still sticking with the default judgment. Now, here's the thing. Here's the biggest thing. And here's where the snarkers are completely wrong. This is where the snarkers just are completely stupid. Is even if Frogi objects to the default, and even if the judge grants her motion, if everything goes the same way, you know what the end result is? It's not the case being dropped, kids. It's the case proceeding as normal.
Jesus. She is, my legal mindset's pretty spot on with this. She's cooked.
So if Frogan goes through all this extra work, all she's going to do
is
have the case proceed as normal. Literally, somebody in the chat said it. Who said it here? Square one. It's back at square one.
It's right. It's back at square one. Because she tried to dodge, but now because she tried to dodge, she's got to check the other 7 boxes that come with the pull tab of square one. It's kind of amazing that you could get online, announce to everybody that you are being sued, and then take the time to try to ignore it and make it go away just to end up making the process harder for yourself. This seems like a very, very challenged individual that doesn't really know how things work. So it's a good thing she spent that 25,000 to get a lawyer. Oh wait, she didn't. Oh,
Congratulations, Frogan. You literally did nothing. You do all this work for freaking nothing. Wow, Queen. Wow.
yas, queen,
So
yas.
smart. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Sigma, right? We're just going crazy here. We're just going crazy. But let's also talk about the money. The money.
Okay.
So here's
yes, because apparently the money is just gone now. Apparently the money is just gone.
lovely, lovely Frogie. And she's got, her legal defense fund at this point at 35K. She also had other donations from other
That is
places. So
bad.
I believe, Ethan's number was around 50K.
You have to keep in mind that these people probably aren't really that rich. They don't carry 30 or 40,000 viewers. So like they would definitely need a a lawsuit defense fund. But the real question is what happened to that money?
This closer than I am, so let's just assume that it's 50K, but she's got at least 35K here. But she had this legal defense fund, and my concern is, what about the money? What did you do with the cash, Frogan? What did you do with the cash? You're clearly not spending all that money on your lawsuit.
Yes.
And so the question is,
oh, she could face even more. Oh my god, she could face even more actual legal charges if this oh my god. Bro.
Frogan? Where is that money going, Frogan?
Oh my god.
Is that going to your muffin budget?
Because it's fraud if she uses that money for anything other than her legal funds, dude. It's fucking fraud. Why would you do that? Why do the people do this to themselves?
Because it's certainly not going into responding to the claims, right?
Oh no.
So they're not going to respond to the claims. And what happens if the funds were diverted to purposes other than the legal defense? That's a possible crime. That's a possible
theft by
crime.
deception.
Theft by deception, false pretenses, fraud. This is a type of fraud.
Yeah.
Also wire fraud.
So two types of fraud.
Potential theft or fraud. Did it go into an IOLTA?
You can go to jail, but yeah, imprisonment. Yep, there it is.
We don't know. We don't know. And once again, this is speculation. This is speculation. So out there, let me be very clear. It's me speculating. It's a question I'm asking. And I don't know. And we need to know, where's the money, Frogan?
Yes.
What are you doing? The other I highlighted this, and this is what was up last night.
After nearly 2 years of
okay. So after 2 years of target harassment campaign against me, ethanklein has now escalated it into suing me for reacting to his video on Hassan and myself on his video titled Content Nuke Hassan Piker. This fundraiser to cover any and all legal fees.
For anyone who's wondering, they had a Reddit set up that stated, if you don't want to give ethanklein, by the way, WH3H3 ethanklein, if you don't want to give ethanklein money, if you don't want to give ethanklein views and money, you can watch it on our stream. We will be reacting to it, as they literally got up mid-video and went and did other things instead of reacting to it. The amount of disrespect to ethanklein is abysmal. And you know what? They're getting what's coming to them.
Associated with this complaint and any counterclaims they have against them. So stop there. So far, as far as we know, she has not paid any legal fees, and she definitely hasn't filed any counterclaims. So as to these two, they're wrong. Now, here's the part where we might get into some debate. This next part, the part I underlined. She puts any other bills, and
Damages
personal expenses. So
that's where the fraud steps in, because she raised that money, kind of like for Shoujo, how Iron Mouse raised that $500,000 for the charity, and then for Shoujo did not give that $500,000 on Iron Mouse's behalf. It's fraud. It's illegal. Why do these people keep doing it? If you raise an amount of money for a a purpose and people are donating money for a purpose for it to go somewhere, whenever you do this, it's fraud.
She's going to argue, oh, I can put food under that. I can put.
And it doesn't matter what she puts here in this bills and personal expenses. The money was raised specifically for legal defense against ethanklein's lawsuit. Not Jimmy and Johnson's lawsuit towards Frogan. We're talking about ethanklein's lawsuit towards Frogan. So if she were to spend that money on anything that is not for that lawsuit, it's fraud.
Makeup under that because I need to look pretty for litigation. I can do all this sort of stuff. That's a personal expense. I can pay for
It kind of you can see how unserious they are taking this. But the thing is it just blows my mind at how Frogan isn't taking this very serious. This is very serious. She could end up going to jail if the court finds in Ethan's favor for copyright infringement and fraud. This could be very damaging for the rest of her life. Like, this could ruin her.
22 layers of cover up, right?
A lot of people are even on YouTube like that don't understand the gravity of the situation or just trying to pass it off in comments of like, oh, it's not gonna. But the thing is if she keeps playing this off the way she is, there could be some very serious, real consequences that carry a lot of heavy weight to this. And even now, they're not taking it very serious. This could be very bad.
Under personal expense, because that's a personal expense. But the problem is, and then the rest of the from lost wages and damages arising from this litigation. Well,
I'm going to stop it right here because I doubt there's going to be anything else that she's going to say that's going to make this worth the extra few minutes of finishing out Legal Mindset's video. By the way, check out Legal Mindset. Awesome guy. Fantastic. He's really keeping up with a lot of this, keeping us legally informed on everything that's going on. So make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to him. But I'm going to roll out of here because I think that Frogan, Denims, and whoever else that Ethan is suing, they're not taking this very serious, and they should be, because this can carry some actual laws that will most likely put them in jail. I mean, regardless of if their account gets banned, it's gonna carry some hefty life-changing damage to it. So I think they should start taking this more seriously, like honestly, seriously. But I'm gonna roll out of here.